Well, how y'all doing again? This is I'm working on my 1924 Dodge, and I got it to make a little bit of a noise by squirting a little jungle juice in the carburetor port, trying to see if the carburetor maybe would be okay to try to start it without rebuilding it. And let me give you a little look-see. And of course, that didn't work. I couldn't get it to pull any fuel through the carburetor. And the reason I did all that is because when the carburetor was on it, I pulled the float housing off of it, which is right there. And it looked that clean in there. So I said, if that's clean, then maybe the rest of the carburetor is okay, and we'll just try it, just for shits and giggles. And it didn't work. So when I took it apart, this is the filter right here, and it was, of course, packed solid with gorp and mire and everything else that was swept up on the floor. So that was messed up. So I took it apart, and this is really a strange carburetor because I have never seen anything like this. This just floats in there, and it's a big old weight with, let me see if I can get you a shot of it. It's got, I can't get any kind of, it's got a set of holes, there they are, in it, and I assume that's where the fuel goes and comes out around that, and why the engine's running, and it's, of course, I'm just assuming that it pulls this up, just pulls it up from the vacuum like that, because this is the air intake here. And what I've been working on, because when I pulled it apart, of course, you pull these things apart and you try to pay attention to what's going on with them while you take it apart. But this guy right here, this is what I would have to, again, assume on a real engine. This is the choke, because it's got a pull-push cable, and I have to assume it's the choke. But it doesn't close a butterfly. It moves the needle valve, which is right here. And I didn't pay attention to the location of that when I pulled all this apart. I didn't even see that. And I tried to pay attention to things. So I'm sort of trying to guess how this thing works. And by just looking at it, and I figured it's so easy to pull off. If I get it wrong, then I can always put it back, change it, do something different. That's the float, and it seems to be okay. It's your typical brass float, and of course it's real hard to see, but there's a bunch of, you can just make out the little checks in it. You can see there's one there. Looks like it was, it could be a crack in another 100 years. You can see a couple more. It had no liquid in it, and I sanded it just a little bit to make sure it was clean, and there's no visible cracks. So I'm going to have to hope it's going to be okay again. But these things are typical to get little cracks where they bend them over the stress. But this one's got the stress marks, but no cracks. So I think we're good to go. I mean, all I can do is try it. And that's the top of the carburetor there. And it's really weird because, I don't know what that thing does. And it's got an adjustment right there, and beats the hell out of me. And it's a needle valve that goes up into the center of this. So it's a enrichment valve or jet or something. And it's like the only one in the thing. I don't even think there's a, oh, now that you mention it, there is no idle mixture valve or needle valve on it at all. So, oops, pardon me. I am going to have to assume that this is probably a idle mixture screw, because it would move this lever, which moves that seat up and down to lean it or richen it. And of course, I'm just using guesstimates on this, and I assume, because I don't know why you would have that if that wasn't the case. So I guess that's what it is. But we'll see. There's a lot of guesswork here, because I've never had one of these apart. This is very similar. The top of this part and the float is very similar to my Nash carburetor. It has the same setup on the floats. It's got the float adjustment here, same style float, so that's common. I don't even know if it might even be the same style carburetor. I don't know. Could be. Dodge Brothers. No, it's not a Dodge Brothers carburetor on the Nash. But, well, of course my bench looks like hell. Let's see, what else? So this is my setup for trying to get it to pop and spit. It's jerry-rigged. Boy, this thing's taking a long time to focus. I might need to eat more. I'm nervous. And that's where I squirted some starting fluid. And she spit and sputtered, made a little noise, which is good. It pretended to run for a second. And of course, I'm using the original coil. I cleaned up the points, and the daggone it, if the coil seemed to be okay. And I cleaned all the spark plugs. And it has sort of compression on all 4 cylinders, sort of maybe. Enough to make it push your finger away on a good day. So it's, yeah. Well, I'm going to put the carburetor together with whatever I can do here. And bolt this sucker on and see if I can get it to make a little noise. And then I guess if I can get it to run on the carburetor with just a little bit of electric fuel pump, because I'm going to run electric fuel pump on this. I am not going to use this vacuum operated setup they have, but I will keep it in line and make it look, all the fuel, it will go through it, most likely. And because I don't trust any of this, it probably will work fine if it's working properly. But I know what electric fuel pump would do, so I'm going to use electric fuel pump, and I'm going to keep this and keep it hooked up and make it in such a way that it looks like it's running through it. And it's running off of that. I'll just hide the pump somewhere. And that's what I'm going to do. So if I can get this thing to make noise, I'll do the fuel system. I'll pull the fuel tank, which I haven't done anything with the fuel tank yet. So I got to pull the fuel tank and probably run new fuel lines up here if the lines are messed up, if I can't save them. And we'll see what goes on. But that's where we are, and I've been sort of busy lately working on a car on the other side of the garage, a El Camino for a friend of mine. And I finally got it sanded, and I am ready for paint. So I'm going to try to paint this in this sand pit of a garage I got here, which are to be interesting. It's probably going to look like a piece of 60 grit sandpaper when I'm through with it. But heck with it. I told him it might have something in the paint here and there. He said, that's fine. Yeah, I bet he is. And that's about where we are. But that's what I've been taking all my time doing, working on that. And I work on this on a rainy day, something of those numbers. So that's where we are. Lucy, what are you doing, dummy? Ha, ha, ha. All right, guys. I just wanted to make another little short video here. And what I'll do is when I get the carburetor bolted on, I'll set the thing up on my stick hanging from the garage and tape the phone to that. And we'll make another little video of first startup number 864. After I rebuilt everything, we'll try to start it for the 64th time. All right, guys, so I'll see y'all later. Bye.